Spencer Mulholland. I'll be Judge Sullivan's attorney in this action. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Give verbal responses. By that, we don't want you to shake your head either yes or no, but simply state yes or no. Don't use slang. We have been advised that you will be referred to as Danielle Doe because of your age, etc. We're not here to trick you. We're just here to find out your version of what happened. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, Miss Doe, what is your age?
15.
And you attend Millboro High School?
Yes.
And how are your grades at the present time?
Not very good.
Why not?
Because of this.
Because of the pressures of this lawsuit?
And what caused it.
The fact is, isn't it, that you didn't want any part of this lawsuit?
That's not the fact.
You don't even want to be here now. Who made you come here today? Who is responsible for pressuring you into this lawsuit?
Him.
Jody, Danielle, staying out all night in a car that didn't belong to you was wrong, wasn't it?
Yes.
You knew you'd be punished for it, didn't you?
Yes, by my parents.
But they turned over that responsibility to Judge Sullivan. Now tell me, would you do it again? Stay out all night in a car that didn't belong to you?
No.
So in other words, Judge Sullivan did teach you a valuable lesson, didn't he?
I didn't need him to. I knew what I did was wrong already. I didn't need to be put in jail for it.
When Judge Sullivan came to the jail the next day to let you out...
Objection. There's no evidence he ever intended to release the girl.
When Judge Sullivan visited you in your cell, you were laughing. Now, did you think being in jail was funny?
No.
Why were you laughing?
Just before, a cockroach was crawling on Renee. And she was screaming. She was so scared. It was either have her freak laugh, so I made her laugh, and then I just started laughing too.
So you were able to keep your sense of humor, even though you were in jail.
Yes.
It's boring in jail, isn't it?
Scary.
Scary. So you must have been relieved to see Corey Yeager. Good-looking football hero. Someone to look out for you.
No.
Saturday night, can you really tell me you weren't the least bit glad to see Corey Yeager?
I wasn't the least bit glad to see him.
Yet you went with Corey Yeager alone to that isolation cell.
Yes.
He threatened you?
No.
He didn't hit you, slap you?
No.
Well, what did he say?
No.
Did he have his gun drawn?
No.
Did he pick you up, drag you, pull you?
No.
Then why'd you go with him?
I had to.
Did he yell at you?
He whispered.
He whispered. Now, come on. Tell the truth. Scream?
No.
Did you fight, kick?
No.
You enticed him, didn't you?
No.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You wanted him.
I wanted him dead. The only thing that I did wrong was staying out all night. A kid shouldn't be put in jail for stuff like that. You said you wanted me to cry. Okay. You made me cry. You happy now?
This is a legal proceeding. What matters here are facts, not emotions, legal facts. On those, I can refute most, more than most of everything that...
Judge Sullivan, if you'd like to state your side of the story now.
You bet I would. All right, young lady.
Whoa, wait a minute. I didn't give you permission to question my client.
You just said...
I said was if you'd like to give your version of what happened, I'd be more than happy to take your deposition right now.
Fine.
The judge's deposition isn't scheduled till next week.
I'm ready if you are.
Julius, I know what I'm doing. I, Judge Julius Sullivan, swear and affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Go.
This isn't going to be a forum for you to spout your personal opinions, and you're not going to attack my client. I'm going to ask you questions, and you'll confine your answers to my questions. Understood?
Ask away.
Is that understood?
It ain't complicated.
Good. You have any professional training in juvenile justice?
I'm a juvenile court judge and a probate judge.
Do you have any specialized training in juvenile justice?
30 years practicing law, raising 2 kids.
How about child psychology?
No.
How about sociology?
What for?
Any training in corrections?
Not as such.
Any training in penology?
No.
Ever take any seminars or classes on juvenile corrections?
Those who can do. Those who teach.
Did you ever take any classes at a university in child corrections?
I just answered that.
Separate question.
I went to the school of HK.
And what is that?
Hard knocks. That's where you learn. Hard knocks.
So, in fact, you have no professional expertise whatsoever in juvenile corrections.
I was duly elected by the people of this community. And I've turned literally hundreds of unruly, unrighteous delinquents like her into good, honest, obedient citizens.
By putting them in jail.
You bet.
Taking them from their families.
Putting them in healthier environments.
17-year-olds.
Sure.
14-year-olds?
They need it.
Well, how young is the youngest child you put in jail?
I'd have to check my records.
I checked them. How about 11 years old?
No, it's impossible.
One would think so. 11-year-old Josh Bryant. You had him brought to court because he and 4 other children were writing on the sidewalk in chalk. Remember that?
One of them wrote an obscenity on the sidewalk, and the others wouldn't say which one it was.
So you had all 5 put in jail till they talked.
That's right, and it worked. They were in under 24 hours. Most kids are in less than that.
These are children you're talking about. How long do you think they have to stay in jail before they're scarred for life? What about Danielle Doe? How did she come to appear before you in court?
Her parents reported her to the sheriff's department. Said she was unruly and they couldn't control her. She was brought before me. Her father said she needed to be taught a lesson. Me to do whatever was necessary to bring her back into line. I suggested jail and he agreed.
That's a lie.
He said he couldn't control her. He signed the warrant. It's in writing.
What's your rule on corporal punishment?
I don't lie.
In all the time you've been a juvenile court judge?
Never threatened a child with it, no.
What do you keep your paddle in the courtroom for?
Well, that's there. If parents want to paddle their children and ask me to use it, it's their fault.
justify the paddling of children in the court of law?
In the rules. Rules. To aid a child in becoming a good person and a good citizen.
Is that from statute?
Not as such. Now, look. I'm not the only judge with a firm hand. My brethren from the East Coast all the way to the West use the same deterrents that are legally available to us.
Yeah, well, right now, we're only concerned with your choice of deterrents. Did you ever order a girl confined to Millborough County Jail and denied that girl medical care or medication?
No.
What about Millie Collier?
I don't know that name.
I'll refresh your memory.
I'm very organized, are you, Counsel?
I think this would be a good time for a recess.
Millie Collier, 14 years old. You had her brought to your court for being tardy too often. Her parents testified that she had an illness that at times prevented her from walking as fast as other children. Remember her yet?
No, I don't know.
You didn't believe them. Even when she collapsed in your courtroom, you insisted she was faking it.
She was. She was faking.
And when she couldn't walk out on her own, you had her crawl on her hands and knees, and then you threatened anyone
could have gotten up.
who tried to help her with contempt of court.
She was faking. She was faking, and I would have proved she was faking.
Collier nearly died in jail because you refused to allow her medication.
Let me see that. Drugs they wanted her to use were illegal substances.
Read the report. They were prescribed by her doctor.
Drugs are what gets all these kids in trouble like her.
She doesn't use drugs.
She will unless she's taught her lesson early. None of you know how these kids are, the ones who skip school and smoke and won't listen to their elders.
Oh, you mean the ones that have to learn their lesson in your court?
That's right. Yes. You don't understand. It's not really their fault. They're born good. Somewhere along the line, they go astray. But they want to be made good again. And someone has to draw the line and show them that they do not pass that line, or they will pay the consequences. And if they do cross that line, then they've got to be pushed back behind it. You understand? Pushed back. Pushed hard.
By a super parent. I mean, that is what you call yourself.
Children are what makes America great. But they need a strong hand to pull them along the right path. Someone to show them the way when their parents, because parents, I don't blame parents. It's not parents' fault. Peer pressure. Peer pressure is stronger than parent pressure. I have set up in my court a pattern of pressure that is stronger than peer pressure. I make kids afraid of me so they don't succumb to peer pressure. It's in the Bible. Be informed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear. I make them afraid of what I will do to them. They don't succumb. I don't want them to hate me. I've sacrificed myself